Hey, this is Mike Rengois, Northwest Fight Scene, NWFightScene.com. I'm here with Ian Williams. A week out from your fight, Rumble the Ridge 24 at Snoqualmie Casino on June 16th. How are you feeling?
In the end of a tough training camp, so you're always, tired and dinged up, but that's training hard.
Right on. Now, fighting in the main event, Justin Psycho Larson. Tough opponent. The guy's been around for a long time. Talk about your thoughts about your opponent.
Well, like you said, he's a tough guy, and he's been around for a long time. He's got a lot of experience, and he's the kind of guy that comes in and he tries to hurt you. So it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a tough fight.
Now, your teammate Josh Calvo fought him at a previous Rumble in the Ridge.
That's right.
Did you learn anything from him? Did he give you any thoughts about his tendencies or anything like that? Or
going back to Justin Larson being around for a long time, I kind of know what he's about. Unless he's made like huge changes, he's pretty well comes in and tries to tear your head off. So I try not to focus on too much. That was like almost a year ago. So he's gonna be a different fighter. I'm gonna be a different fighter. Josh Calvo's a different fighter. So I try not to look too much on that and just try to focus on winning.
Sure. Now, you talk about the main event. What's that mean for you to fight in the main event?
It's good. It's good for my gym. I just hope I can keep winning and keep being in the main event, or when one of the other guys are ready, like Justin Harrington, or when he can get up there. I'd love for him to be a main event. I think it's really good for my coach's gym, my coach, our my fight team that I represent. So anytime one of our guys is a main event, I'm happy.
Right on. Now, you're 5-0 as a pro. What was your amateur record?
I was 6-1 as an amateur.
Who was you lost to?
Let's see.
You remember?
I know. Andy. I lost to Andy.
Okay. What was obviously with the wins, that's a good thing. What was that loss like for you?
It's hard. Anytime anyone loses, nobody wants to lose. That's like but it's got to happen. It happens to everybody. You just got to try to learn from it the best you can and try to fix the issues and move on.
Well, I think you have learned. There are fights that, especially the pro fights, you go in with a game plan and you finish. What do you see happening on next Saturday?
Like I said a minute ago, it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a war. I just have been training as much as I can and as hard as I can, and hopefully I'm prepared enough. And and just got to go down there and see where throw the chips up. And it's going to be one of those fights. He's a tough guy. He's got a lot of experience. We're just going to throw down.
Okay. Now let's switch it up a little bit. What got you into the sport?
I always thought that from the first time I saw that I could do it, and I never wanted to be that guy that's sitting on the couch, 30 years, 40 years down the road, and I could have done that. So I pursued looking at it, and the only way to tell how far you can get in any one given sport is to go out. If you don't go out, you'll never know. So that's kind of the attitude I took, and I'm pursuing it. So.
What got you in here to combat sport and fitness? Are you from this area, or is it?
Yeah, I actually started at combat before combat was combat, and I found Jeff, and before he kind of had a gym, and I started training with him, and then I've been with him ever since. So.
And what's he do for your game?
I've got a lot to thank Jeff for. He's a really hard worker, and he puts so much time and sweat and effort into not only me, but all the guys at Combat Sports and Fitness. That's one of the reasons why we're so good. But because he's such a hard worker, he's so well-rounded. He's good stand-up, he's good jiu-jitsu. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. Before that, he did Muay Thai, stand-up, kickboxing, and that's actually where he originated from. And then he had to learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And so he's just so well-rounded, and I've got his experience to pull from, so it's invaluable, really, to have a coach that's that well-rounded and cares about his guys so much. So, I wouldn't be the fighter that I am now without not only him, but the other guys that he's trained. So.
Now, a lot of your past fights, submission wins, except say for that Taurine Washington head kick. KO. Do you feel like submission, the ground game's your game, or do you feel like you're well-rounded? Where do you think that you're strongest, and where do you think that you're weakest?
That kind of goes back to like the training with Jeff. And when I started, I had, I think Jeff was almost a brown belt at the time. Calvo was a high-ranked blue belt. So I started with guys that were all way better than me on the ground, and I was more of a brawler. I could throw hard punches, so that's kind of what I did. And so I had to get really good on the ground really quick. And so for the first like a good probably 2.5 years, they just beat the crap out of me on the ground. So I had to learn how to survive on the ground. And so when I go from high jiu-jitsu level and really experienced guys, and then go in with a guy who's close to my level, my ground comes out. It's not so much that I'm a ground guy. I had such a learning curve on the ground that it's now the opposite a lot of times when I fight.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. Talk about what you like to do outside the sport.
I'm actually a really boring guy. I don't do much. Me and my wife own a small business. We own an Iron Horse Hay and Feed in Maple Valley. And when I'm not there or with my kids, I'm like lifting weights or I'm here. So like I said, I'm pretty much train all the time. I'm a pretty boring dude. So.
Are you originally from this area, Maple Valley, Enumclaw?
Yeah. I actually graduated from Kent Lake. So I'm from this area, I guess. Maple Valley, Covington. Covington's actually where I lived and more or less grew up. I bounced around when I was younger, back east a little bit, but for the most part, I was, I graduated out here. I lived out here. So.
How's business?
Actually, it's kind of slow this time of year. So, yeah, a lot of training.
All right. Okay. Any sponsors to thank?
No, not right now. I'm gonna have to get on the whole sponsor thing. I haven't really jumped on that yet, but I'm a bad businessman. But yeah, I got to get sponsors. But right now, no sponsors.
All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate your time. You'll be fighting Justin Larson. We look forward to seeing you in there. This is Ian Williams in Northwest Fight Scene. Thank you, sir.